English, I'm sure you all must have heard of that if we continue to do what we've always done, then we will only get what we've always got. So that means, what's the moral of the story? That you have to change. So this particular process requires a change. And if you saw on my the book cover page, and well, that's not I wrote that maybe what in 1995, but I'm sure there are people in the 1960s and 70s, gurus who have written that change is imperative, change is permanent, but change does not occur unless there is a failure. So when the Vakashio occurs, then people wake up and say, "Oh, it is cheaper to give good internet services on the ship than to pay millions of dollars in damages and reputation." Right? So then they wake up with that. So why do we wait for Costa Concordia or a Herald Free Enterprise? Why can't we, be proactive? Okay. So all good. Everyone clear on the? You can see that non-conformity description of Al-Fian, and it's put it very well stated there. Okay. So we'll just go on to where we left. So here, what's important is to be able to assess effectiveness. It is very important as one of the attributes of an auditor. If I'm just going to take you to another slide. Auditor's behavior, look at this slide. Avoid interrogation. Who does interrogation? Posting control inspector, SAR inspector, even a surveyor, class surveyor coming on board for an annual survey or whatever. That discussion. Look at this. This is something it's even AB knows how to check that. We've already improved our standards in the last 20 years. So also I think you have a point there. So you get $1 million from him because he's told you how it's actually. So what do you do with an officer? Well, nothing, sir. We just tick with one eye closed. We do the checks because we don't do it. The SAR is going to catch, and then you say, oh, you don't follow my checklist, all that stuff. Okay, so you as an auditor's job is to know how it's actually implemented, and you cannot know unless you get friendly with the auditor. Also good. Any questions on this slide? Objectives of an audit, average auditor, and a good auditor assessing effectiveness, right? And there's a 19,011, this is only for your information. There's a ISO 19,011. It's a guidance document for auditing, but it's more applicable for auditing organizations like DNB, ABS, Lloyds, NK, etc., etc. Okay, it's not something that you need to worry about too much for your internal auditing. Right. So, anyone's got anything else to add before we move on to the next slide? Yes, Carl, anything from you?
Well, now, sir, as your auditor, are you supposed to give suggestions or ways to improve on your findings, or you can only show the findings and drawbacks?
Good question. So, as an auditor, are you supposed to give your suggestions? Okay, you can give suggestions, but not opinion. So, in this case, the auditor is suggesting that I am an auditor. I came on board, and during the course, I found that this particular process the chief would not do because the familiarization was not adequately carried out, and understand that the third officer did not have adequate time to carry this out, to carry out the familiarization because of so and so reasons, and therefore it is auditor right. It is you can write here in view of the above. You don't even have to use the word suggestion or recommendation here. In view of the above, it is recommended. It is recommended that the familiarization process is reviewed to ensure that it can be effectively implemented. So, auditor is not claiming that, in simple terms, that it is you have to change it. The auditor can't cross that boundary. Auditor remains there. That, in my opinion, this is the situation. It is recommended that this process is reviewed to take into consideration rate, joining hours, cargo work, and the officer, right? So, obviously, the company says, yeah, that's a good point, auditor. So, what this auditor has done is, he is, you can call it a suggestion or a recommendation, but it's not an opinion. that the auditor can't state in view of the above procedures should be amended. He is recommending. Auditor always recommends. Even a third party class auditor only recommends, cannot be prescriptive. Right, Jitendra?
Okay, sir, clear.
And Carl, you were saying something.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that it's even if I haven't been doing auditing, it is not always straightforward somehow. There's always a learning curve, even after a while. Also dynamic because things are changing, right? So it's practice. That's what we need.
Yeah, changing. That's absolutely right. I mean, it has to be dynamic and keep changing, and so it requires a lot of improvements, including, I mean, the same thing can be taken for even a PMS process. That means you have some equipment, machinery frequently breaking down, or even though PMS is being carried out, sometimes the PMS is not being carried out. And why is it not being carried out? What is the process changes that the company or the vessel has implemented because they are not getting layoff time, etc., etc., etc. So are they waiting for a breakdown, or are they looking for some change that, okay, this is the situation, we've done an RA or we've done some assessment that if you go beyond the running hours, 25% or so beyond, then the following needs to be done. So what is that needs to be done so that you don't have a breakdown of the engine, when you're just casting off from a terminal or when you're arriving at berthing such that you actually land up hitting the terminal or on an incident. So basically, in other words, they have taken some proactive measures and not that, oh, we're not getting layup time, but the chief can do nothing about it. So they are, obviously there's something that can be done as an engineer. Engineers need to discover that. I'm just giving an example for PMS. This can be extrapolated for any process. It's just that each process needs to be looked into by the domain specialist to understand that, yes, this is the problem and this needs to be addressed. Right. Anybody else on effectiveness? Okay, let's go to this next slide. We have this.
Sir, one last question from my side. Like in this case study, so if like chief cook, till he has not taken over his duties from the off-signing chief cook, he cannot be questioned, right? Even though like on board 2 chief cooks are there, so only the old one who is still in charge, only he can be interrogated and he can be asked questions to show familiarity and all, not the one who has just now joined. Yes.
But the auditor did not ask him, he didn't board the vessel on the second day. He came 2 months later to conduct an audit. And then he was auditing the familiarization process. So he said, who are the guys who have come recently? He said 2 months back we had 5 people. So it is not something that happened within 24 hours of the cook joining. You get my point?
Okay.
This is an audit that has occurred 2 months later. The guy signed the checklist because next day there was a SAR inspector coming or a PFC or whatever, and just to ensure that they don't get an observation there. And rightfully captain did that because that's the way the industry is doing it. It is not this captain who's done something wrong. The whole industry is doing it that way. Oh, we don't do it, and the guy, oh, you had this cook in the morning 9 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, okay, but they joined 12 hours back, and they don't know about familiarization, we haven't done anything on it. So eventually what happens in this case, the company may say, okay, we agree, auditor, your findings are wonderful, and I think we need a process improvement here. So there is a brainstorming in the office, and they say, okay, so let's do familiarization in 2 stages. So the third officer may have suggested stage 1 familiarization. What is it? Sir, when the chief cook and the chief officer and AVs arrive, we will tell them in the night they're completely half asleep, tired, hungry, and they're going to eat and go to sleep. Only we're going to tell them 2 things. Stage 1 familiarization. Excuse me, all of you, your lifeboat station is so and so, fire station so and so, lifeboat station, fire station. Okay, all of you know? Okay, you can go to sleep. And then you can do the familiarization stage 2 within the next 72 hours, 3 days, 4 days, or whatever. So in stage 1, familiarization is complete. Stage 2, you say we do it in the next 4 days, 5 days, whatever. That's up to you. You can decide that. So you have modified. Now, third officer says, I can implement this process. Previously, he had a process he was not in a position to implement, so he has to fake it. You did not give an opportunity for the third officer to implement the process, so obviously he's going to fake it. Even Albert Einstein was the third officer would have to fake it. So the question is that you make a procedure such that it can be followed, not a procedure which has to be faked because it can't be followed by the CEO of the company, nor by Albert Einstein, nor by the best marine in the world. It's not possible, right? So that's responding to you, right? So basically, and to understand in the sense that you need to understand where the process needs to improve. And Carl just mentioned, improvement. It's a continuous cycle, you know. And yeah, okay. Actually, there are two presentations for you to see. Okay, and let's come to the right side of the screen. Auditing. The auditor is interested. Auditor is for a year out here. Auditor wants to listen to the auditing. He wants to listen how the process is being followed. So there's a year representing auditing. I want to listen from you, auditor. You keep talking. I'm auditor. I'll keep silent. You talk 90%. I talk 10. Right? So you may sometimes get a terrible auditee who talks 10%. So you have to talk 90% to figure out that 10. Another 90% to figure out another 10. Sometimes auditees talk very less. They're temperamentally like you've got a bad auditee. So you'll have to dig out the information. So you need more patience and more time. Now, here the job of the auditee is to understand that why is it that the chief engineer did not record this or record book? So, Chief, what did you do? Okay, sir, I got busy with my monthly operations. We completed the checklist, sir, but and then we went to sleep. And the next day morning, there was early morning, 2 o'clock sailing, and then we arrived and just slipped out and etc. etc. So everything is forgotten. Okay. So let me ask some chief engineer here, Hitendra, you have been tasked. You have been tasked by your boss. Said, hey, a lot of these chief engineers are forgetting to update the oil record book. Oil record not been updated, and we are getting this finding. And so, Mr. Jitendra, can you please check out what is it that we can do? So, Jitendra, it's your task to do something with the bunkering process. And what is it that you think you can do? Please remember one thing. Try to kill a fly with a fly killer. Fly killer costs $1, $2. Don't use a cannon to kill a fly. You may use a cannon to kill a fly. You fire the cannon, the fly will just fly off. Fly won't get killed. So only to kill a fly with a cannon, you need a $1. So try and find, the appropriate solution. So I'm now bouncing off to you, Jitendra. You are an ex-chief engineer and you have been ashore now for quite some time. So you have been asked, please do something so they don't forget in the process or the checklist. The process means the process and the checklist. So what will you do? Tell me.
Okay, sir. Like chief engineer is forgetting or missing to update the bunkering operation in the oil record book. So we can deal with this at two levels. One is the bunker checklist. Like bunker checklist is divided into pre-bunkering, during bunkering, and post-bunkering. So in post-bunkering, we can add one point like for completion of post-bunkering, not necessarily it should be completed just exactly at completion of the bunkering. It might be like some section might be completed after even 1 day or like 12 hours after the bunkering completion. So we can add a point. Has the ORB been updated for this bunkering operation? We can add a point so that is a reminder to the chief engineer, because now none of the chief engineer will not
Wonderful.
They can only just forget it that there is no reminder. One is that, and second point, like every weekend or once a week, the oil record book goes to the captain for his signature as well after chief engineer has filled it and all. So in that also we can add a reminder that all the latest operations or bunkering has been entered, so captain can also have a look on that part during his training. So
very good. So, Jitendra, I'm pausing you. You have hit the nail virtually on the bullseye. So, what Jitendra is saying, I'm going to just do a very simple mechanism. So, I'm on your screen, all of you can see, I'm just writing here. I'm writing something. I want to convey a point to all of you. So, I'm writing something for you to understand what Jitendra is. And I fully endorse that. ORB completed. I'm going to add a last point in the post bunkering checklist or whatever. ORB completed. So I'm a chief engineer. ORB completed. Oh, no, I can't take this, so I have to complete. Hey, fourth engineer, please complete the ORB. Yeah, quickly. So fourth engineer or third engineer, somebody complete the ORB. Completed, yeah, show me, and then I take it. All good, Jitendra? Sounds good?
Yeah.
Jitendra? Sounds good? Yeah,
right, sir.
Yeah. Okay, now, but what happens now is, like I said, safety management system and under construction activity. So everything goes fine. So you were having 7% all record failure. So you added this. Now that failure has come down to 4%. I'm only conveying, all how you have to continuously improve your process. So you can't sit back and relax and say, thank you very much, bye bye. Exxon Valdez, Exxon did not have an incident for 20 years, and they said, oh, we are the best in the world and we don't need to do anything where we are. We're wonderful. And then after 20 years, they had one small accident followed by the Baldies, and then Exxon was virtually closed. Right? So let's look at it. Now what happens, Jitendra? For some years, some months, it continues very well. But one fine day, Jitendra, please be with me. One chief engineer, hello, fourth engineer, you complete it. Yeah, okay, I'm picking it. So I have picked it and you complete it. Fourth engineer forgets to update it, but the chief engineer has already updated this and all record book is not completed. Possible, Jitendra?
Yeah, very much possible, sir. That is why, there should be
I'm coming
various.
to that. I'm coming to that. Now what will happen? Again, the boss goes to Jitendra, your checklist is failed. Yeah, no, sir, I'm making another improvement, sir. Don't worry. I understand your problem. And I made another improvement, sir. Okay, what is it? ORB completed. And please write ORB. I'm just giving you I'm not saying you all should do this. I'm only telling you how you can improve a process. Improvement is continuous, never ending. So ORB completed, and you write ORB page number. So you added from the page number. He has to write page number XX, whatever is the page number there. Now, fourth, say, I have read the page number. Please send it to me. Yeah? Okay, so I'm completing it. So now this has brought that process failure to maybe 2.5%. Your process has now improved. They are now because page number is written. Right? So you will never reach a state of perfection, and you may also have a chief engineer. Oh yeah. Yesterday I saw page number 18. Yeah, must be some 19. Okay, let me just write it as 19. And actually, he writes it as 19, but with the engineer forgets to update it. So what I'm trying to draw, moral of the story is that you will continue to have failures. You will continue to have, and you have to keep this continual improvement as a continuous clock ticking, in the industry, in your organization, clicking or ticking so that it needs to be ticking all the time, that it non-stop. All good? Everybody clear that no process is complete. All processes have potential for improvement. Even when you believe that there is, if you actually look at it, okay, I'm taking this sample of Goodwood. Goodwood has got 45 ships. Now, if they are doing 45 internal audits a year, and even if 50% of their internal auditors go with one process deficiency improvement, you will have something like 20 processes improving each year. So imagine if you have a company. I'm not naming any company. I'm not naming any company, but I tell you something very interesting. I've been doing PMSA, OBMSA audits since 2007. I've done something like 27 PMSA, OBMSA reviews of the top shipping companies, including ship management companies. So leading companies, you name it, and perhaps it's there. Some of them have initiated by the charters asking me to do. Some of them have been invited to conduct a PMSA. I went to one particular organization, not in Singapore. It's in Hong Kong. It's a fantastic place, and it's written there. Like I don't remember the exact year, was it 1905 or 1895 established. When I say 1895 established, now if you have a company which is established in 1890s or more than 100 years back, we are assumed that their processes will be extremely polished, updated, and the best in the world. But that was not the case, and that is not the case because nobody is looking at process improvement. We are just looking at covering our backsides. We are just looking at amending things when we have a problem or a finding, and we never look into the process improvement part of it. We don't look into what is the process. We don't look at process and a process approach. If you look into that YouTube, there is a 10 12 minutes presentation on what is the process approach. And if you follow that process approach, only then you'll be in a position to, sorry, one second. So when you look into a process approach, only then will you be in a position to, improve processes. And there's another presentation there for 8-10 minutes on continual improvement. You can actually what you call look at that as a little bit of time, right? So far so good. Before we move on, anybody else? Anything else to add? Captain Zhao, how are you?
Thanks. Okay.
You understand, yeah? Okay, very good.
Yeah,
Let's go to, right, okay. Captain Hidayo, how about you, Captain Hidayo? How about you? Do you have anything to add to the questions of writing non-conformity, looking at the process part, effectiveness of effectiveness of the process, etc., etc.?
No, sir, everything's okay.
Everything is okay. Because you see, you had mentioned about, which is very natural. I mean, it's not that you are just representing the industry, that the punitive action, that the company takes, or you should, and in fact, one of the most hopeless KPI you can have for internal inspection and internal audit. I'm not talking about external. Internal. When you do an internal inspection, superintendent's inspection, internal audit by your internal auditor, you should have a KPI. The more the merrier. That means the more number of non-conformities, the better it is. We can clean our system. We can find our problems in the system. But if you have a KPI not more than 2 non-conformities or X non-conformities in internal audit or an internal inspection, then you are restricting. You are actually trying to put a lid. You're trying to you have a boiler without a safety valve, and you're thinking, oh, that's it. And then when you do that, then one fine day you lift the carpet and you can see below there is a water shield. Right? Please, there is a paper in mine. Okay, I'm just putting my log address, so you will go on that. I don't know whether I shared with you all yesterday. So I'm sharing it today. There's a paper. I've written quite a few papers. One of the papers is about this one thing. It's about don't sweep safety under the carpet, and we tend to sweep that more often than not, right? So, so I'm sending you the link of that. You can actually see there's the paper drowning in a sea of paper. It's got 4 different international publications have published this. Don't sweep safety under the carpet. That's been published by a journal in London. The plastic epidemic also has 4, what you call. So I'm just giving you the link, and if you are interested, you can read that, and then you get one second. Yeah, you're saying something.
It's true. I do agree. All this audit inspection, it's for the good thing. It's for improving of the ships. But it's just the thing that the reactions that being received by the company towards that observations, towards that things, that's the thing that become an issue to the seafarer. Like a few days, not few days, I think like last week, I was on board the ship where this ship having a SIA inspection. It's going good for them. I was the loading master on that ship, so after they finished the inspections, I was having a conversation with the SIA inspector on the bridge. This was a normal conversation. He was telling his experience. He got 24 years experience with the SIA inspection. He was telling me like how the inspection during like 20 years back and the different until and now, which he said during at that particular time, people are people don't have any issue. People just go through, and it's during that time the site inspection, they don't have any notifications. Suddenly when you at court, the inspector come on board, because that time all this email thing is not as good as now. But now they have like 1 month notice, 1 week notice, and each of the notifications and all for the ships to prepare. But yet when he come on board the ship's crew are so much stressed, not like how it used to be, and people are so scared with the inspections, with the audit. I said, and which I replied to him, I feel like people crew ship seafarer, they are not scared of the inspection or audit, but they have they are more scared towards the outcome of the audit, the reaction of the office towards the observation that being given to them. They don't have any issue when the inspector giving them observations. No, because they know it's for the improvement of the ships. They know when the inspector pointed out that this is wrong, it's for the improvement of for them, for the ships. They have no issue of that. But it's just that to explain to the office, that's the thing that make them not comfortable, not fancy.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, and I'll give you two examples here. When I was auditing, actually, I was doing a pre-trial on one of the tankers being managed by the Hyderabad pool, right? I was there, designated person in Singapore to carry out a vetting for all tankers passing Singapore while bunkering operations, right? And in one of the inspections, and this is, by the way, it's done for the pool managers are doing it on behalf of the owners. So this is facilitated, it's being done by the owners. This report is only going to the pool manager and to the company, the owners of the managers of the company, and they are actually paying for this. So one of the inspection during the bridge audit, this is 2014, I think, so 13 or 14. So the second officer, I don't vividly remember what was the issue, but I did see something on the bridge quite serious and significant. I said this this should be communicated to all the other vessels in the fleet because this is of grave importance. When I just mentioned it to second officer, I said, I'm writing this note down. The second officer told me that if you write this down, then I'll be fired next port. I have to sign off and go home. So then I checked with the captain, and the captain says that's the policy this company follows, their owners. So I said this is quite ridiculous. So then I toned down my finding in such a manner that it was projecting the problem in a bit of a subtle manner and not in a manner that this person would be fired. Right. So this approach is wrong. Second example. DuPont is a big chemical company where there is lack of awareness, understanding in the top management. If they only know one language, dollars and cents, and they don't understand other things, then there is a problem. So then vision is poor. That means you need to have visionary people sitting on the chairs of the CEO. If they lack vision, then there is the problem of the organization itself as a problem, right? So this particular DuPont, the CEO of the company in the early 90s, when they were adopting 9001 standard, this man had vision. He had attended the training sessions in the ISO standards, and so he was quite familiar, and he